halftime in San Francisco. San Francisco over Minnesota 17-13. And now, as our custom, halftime highlights beginning with Cleveland and Miami.
That's Forrest Gregg, the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. They've got to face the always tough Miami Dolphins. It's Paul Warfield's birthday, 34 years of age. And this is quarterback Brian Sipe. Action early in the second quarter. The score, 0-0. To Paul Warfield, and he's got a birthday present. 13 yards. Touchdown. The Browns take a 7-0 lead. But Miami, as you all know, never quits. And Benny Malone, the quick starting breakaway runner of the Dolphins, moves down the left sideline, wearing a breakaway helmet, if you will, before he's finally stopped. Good game. With 40 seconds left in the half, Bob Greasy, the polished veteran quarterback, hits number 20, Larry Seifel, touchdown. The game becomes 7-6 because they missed the conversion as they did against Baltimore. Brian Sipe hitting Reggie Rucker, touchdown. That made it 14-6. The figures you saw in Brian Sipe reflective of the way he's been quarterbacking Cleveland all season long, ever since he took over from Mike Phipps. But Greasy is always there, 22 of 33 on the day for him. And here he hits Benny Malone. Benny moving again down to his left along the sideline. And finally being brought down. 36-yard gain. What a surprise team Cleveland has been this year. They've won 7 in a row. They're at 8-4 on the year with the victory achieved in this game. Right there, Greasy hits Freddie Solomon. That's a touchdown. That made it 14-13. But with 10 minutes left in the game, watch this. The punt by Cleveland. Laying in flurries of snow. The ball taken by Freddie Solomon. Out of Tampa, second-year man, injured the first half of this year. Brilliance predicted for him. Look at him go! Now he's got it. He veers left over toward the sideline. Outraces the puncher and moves on in for a apparent touchdown. But nullified by a penalty. Cleveland went on to win 17-13. At San Diego Stadium, the Chiefs against the San Diego Chargers. And this is Dan Fouts. We're 4 minutes into the first quarter. Quick throw to Don Woods. Touchdown. The Chargers lead 7-0. Then, with 6:30 left in the quarter, the quick handoff to Ed Podolak. Back in good health. He sweeps right. Goes in for the score. That made it 7-7. Then in the fourth quarter, with Kansas City leading San Diego 16-13, Fouts goes to work again. Hits number 18, Charlie Joyner, who is having a superb year, as the graphic there shows. So San Diego moved out ahead all over again, 20-16. But Ed Podolak moving up the middle for a touchdown, and so Kansas City roars from behind to achieve a victory, 23-20. We're back live at Candlestick Park. They've got fireworks here. Right now, they're doing a very nice thing. They're paying a tribute to ABC Sports. And you see the fireworks about to be set off again, I suspect. But thank you very much, you people of San Francisco and the 49ers, our host tonight, for recognition of our Olympic coverage. The network of the Olympics. That's ABC. Right now, let's go to our play of the week. No, we'll be back in just a moment, and then the play of the week.
I'm going to ride in this cable car, suspended by cable made from Flexten tire cord, over Royal Gorge. Tire cord is the main reinforcing agent in a tire. Tensile strength is only one of many performance properties in a tire, but it's one of the most important. Flex 10, a Goodyear exclusive, was developed from a man-made aramid fiber that is pound for pound stronger than steel. Flex 10, the tire cord of the future, from Goodyear.
Haruki Fujimoto, a kabuki dancer. He eats a traditional Japanese diet. Increasingly, doctors see two advantages to his diet: more fiber, fewer calories. New Fresh Horizons bread has the same advantages. ITT makes fresh horizons with fewer calories than regular white bread, as much fiber as 100% bran cereal. ITT thinks your diet should be as good as his.
Denver at New England, both teams with playoff hopes. The Patriots playing as good football as anybody in the league. Look at this. Steve Ramsey back to pass. Sacked by number 78, Tony McGee. Ramsey again back to pass. Sacked again by 78, Tony McGee. Ramsey back to pass. Sacked again, this time by Ray Hamilton, 71. 9 times on the day Ramsey was sacked. Here, throwing for Jack Dalvin, he's intercepted by the brilliant first-round draft choice, Mike Haynes, rookie defensive back, and how he can go. That was his 7th intercept on the year. Now, a punt, and watch Mike Haynes on this one, number 40. Patriots hadn't had a kick return for a touchdown in years. This year, Mike Haynes has already done it twice. Now he does it for 62 yards and a touchdown. That made the score 24-0. New England over Denver. But it wasn't just kick running or passing. Right here, Don Calhoun, the backup man for the injured Sam Van Cunningham with a good run. And look at the day he had, 177 yards. So the Patriots have it all this year. The depth, the defense, the offense, everything, or so it seems. Forte going in for the last touchdown for New England as the Patriots zoomed to a 38-14 victory over Denver that killed off Denver. Pittsburgh at Cincinnati in a blizzard, the key game of the day. The Steelers struggling to keep their playoff hopes alive. The Bengals leading in the Central Division of the NFC. This is third quarter action. And Franco with a good day considering the weather. Pours through for 4 yards. Touchdown. The Steelers took a 7-3 lead. It was impossible whether to play in, or so it seemed. And yet there was a good share of fine plays. Like here, Crusett of Boston College substituted for the injured Bradshaw. Hits Lynn Swan. Look at Lynn go. That's good for 51 yards, down to the 11-yard line. And the Steelers threatening again. But the Bengals held. And the Bengals have a way of coming back. Look at the veteran center, Ray Mansfield, liking the taste of the snow. Watch Anderson try to bring them back now. He throws from his own end zone. He does it so often. He'll throw from anywhere. This one for 54 yards. Perfect pass to his favorite target, Isaac Curtis. Isaac went out of bounds. The Steelers then held the Bengals. Chuck Noll obviously worried. Why not? The Bengals, a team with enormous comeback capacity. Right here, perfect pitch to Chip Myers, but a great play by J.T. Thomas at the last moment. And so, finally, the game ends. Franco Harris and the Steelers win it 7-3. And now it's time for our Play of the Week. The Play of the Week is brought to you by Muriel Cigars. Where there's Muriel smoke, believe me, there is indeed fire. Here we go. The plays of the week and the player of the week, O.J. Simpson, 32 Buffalo Bills, in a 27-14 losing effort against the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day pass. This run, typical of the juice all day long, picking up good yardage before finally going down. Now watch this one. The quick burst through the hole, and then the quick cut to the left. Watch the way he uses that downfield blocker. And he's in for the touchdown, 48 yards. On the day, 29 rushes, 273 yards. New NFL record, breaking an old one by Jimmy Brown. What a performer he was. This run, good for 12 yards, touchdown. The player of the week, O.J. Simpson.
Muriel, turn you on. That is my desire. Muriel, light the flame in me. Where there's Muriel smoke, there's fire. Where there's Muriel smoke, there's fire. Mm-hmm.
We've had a super first half here at Candlestick Park in San Francisco, and it's the 49ers out over the Minnesota Vikings 17-13. ABC's Monday Night Football, the Vikings versus the 49ers, is being brought to you by Lincoln Mercury, who invite you to inspect one of America's outstanding collections of fine cars now at your Lincoln Mercury dealer. And we'll be ready for the second half kickoff after this message and a word from our local stations.
Due to mature subject matter, parental discretion is advised.
Unless I miss my guess, Captain, you're out of uniform.
Alan Arkin,
Take him out and shoot him.
Richard Benjamin, Martin Balsam, Bob Newhart, and Orson Welles. Catch 22.
Sunday at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.
I'll vouch for that, Gift. Remember when we auditioned Karras for Monday Night Football? We had him do it in a tutu.
He's got better wheels than Namath.
What did old Babe Dietrichson say? It beats beating hash.
All right, we are about ready for the kickoff. It'll be the Vikings kicking off to the 49ers. A good football game if you've been watching. Those are the stats. Along with that, an interesting thing is going to happen here. Well, it could happen for Delvin Williams. He needs 58 yards for the 49ers to go for 1,000 yards for the season. Chuck Foreman only needs 1 yard unofficially to get his 1,000. Here's Fred Cox setting it up. Minnesota, of course, have clinched their division, the Central Division of the National Conference, but they're playing for that home crowd, home field advantage. There is Kermit Johnson dropping back, number 47. He's back there with Paul Hofer, and that is not Kermit.
He's got a new look if it is.
Part of a very festive evening here tonight in San Francisco. And the second half is underway. Low kick by Cox. And it bounds into the arms of Hofer. And Hofer is nailed out of the 26-yard line. So the 49ers will get the first possession. They lead the Minnesota Vikings 17-13. The Vikings all but dead. They have a mathematical shot. They would have to win the rest of their games, while the Los Angeles Rams would have to lose their remaining games. First and 10 for the 49ers. Ball at the 27-yard line. The quarterback is Scott Bull. Jim Plunkett has been on the bench. He has a full muscle in his side. And this is Delvin Williams. And Williams gets 5 yards out to the 32. And Les Meat, the offensive unit of the 49ers.
Scott Bull, quarterback, Fayetteville and Jonesboro, Arkansas. Devin Williams, running back, Fifth Ward, Texas, Houston, Texas. Whooper Jackson, fullback, Ozark, Alabama.
Gene Washington, wide receiver, Long Beach, California.
S, wide receiver, Akron, Ohio. Mitchell, tight end, Plymouth White Marsh, Pennsylvania.
And on the field, second down and 5. This is Delvin Williams, and Delvin Williams is nailed by number 50, Jeff Seaman. Middle linebacker who played his collegiate football just down the road a piece, Palo Alto, at Stanford University. There's Chuck Foreman, a yard away from 1,000 yards for the season. Let's take a look at Jeff Seaman. He's one of the fine middle linebackers in pro football today. 6'3", 230-pounder. Yeah, we won't see him this time. Third down and 6. This is Scott Bull, and Paul Krause intercepts, and it was intended for Delvin Williams. That is Paul Krause's 76th interception of his career. He is 3 away from tying the late Emlyn Tunnell's all-time record, a record set that has been thought absolutely unbeatable.
And both former University of Iowa football players.
That's
I
true.
just thought I'd tell you guys that.
And a touch of razzle-dazzle, which we're seeing a lot more of this year with the lateral pass. Krause was able to get up and run because nobody had touched him. There was the lateral.
And the first turnover of the ball game. Handoff, Chuck Foreman. And Foreman has his 1,000. As he gets 3, it'll be second down and 7. Bruce Ilya. So Chuck Foreman has gone over the 1,000-yard mark for the second time. Second consecutive time. Last year, he had 1,070. That's a Minnesota Viking rushing record, and he has 2 games to erase his own rushing record for Minnesota. could do it tonight. Bruce Elia was shaken up, got up, went back to the huddle, and decided he could not continue. So that will bring on Frank Nunley, and Nunley will be playing with a fractured cheekbone. And we'll be returning to Candlestick Park in just a moment.
This is the mark of the cat. New symbol of driving excitement for the cat sets. Mercury Cougar XR7. A total new look for 77. Bold, strong, aggressive. More of a Cougar than we've ever unleashed before. Deeply padded, richly luxurious, with a stance on the road that says, this is my private domain. And now XR7 unleashes more excitement. A pack of new Cougar running mates. An elegant four-door brougham, handsome, spacious, with a luxury ride engineered by Lincoln Mercury. More excitement in two-door hardtops, and a sporty Cougar wagon with rich wood-tone paneling. Fresh from the lair, and yards of cargo space. New luxury, new action for the cat set. See all the new Cougars for 77 at the sign of the cat.
Saturday, regional coverage of the NCAA Division II Championship semifinals featuring Montana State against North Dakota State and Northern Michigan against Akron, and the Division III Championship between St. John's and Towson State. Then Saturday night, arch rivals Arkansas and Texas on ABC.
Head coach Bud Grant of the Minnesota Vikings on the sidelines. 8 divisional titles over the past 9 years. Remarkable coaching record. Out on the field, his Vikings have a 2nd down and 7. Chuck Foreman, who just went over 1,000 yards, almost broke this one off. He gets down to the 15-yard line. It'll be a yard short of a 1st down and 3rd down. Ralph McGill up there to make the stop, and Bruce Elia is being attended to on the 49er bench. And you hate to see them start wiggling that knee. That is the way they check to see if the ligaments have been loosened. Vikings trailing the 49ers 17-13. They have a 3rd and 1 at the 15-yard line of the 49ers. That's Bob Grimm in motion. Flag is down. Somebody was moving illegally. Steve Riley, I believe, over the left side. It looked as he made him. Let's have a look at the offensive faces.
Francis Asbury Tarkington, quarterback from Athens, Georgia.
I'm Chuck Foreman. I'm a running back, and I'm from Frederick, Maryland.
Brent McClanahan, running back, Bakersfield, California.
Samuel White, wide receiver, Monroe, Louisville.
Ahmed Rashad, wide receiver, Tacoma, Washington. Stu Voigt, tight end, Madison, Wisconsin.
3rd down and 6. Tarkington, play action. Over the middle, looking for Bob Grimm, and off his fingertips, hustling back there, Mel Phillips for the 49ers. It'll be 4th down, and that should produce Brett Cox.
Interesting to see Tarkington throwing to Bob Grimm. Remember, Bob Grimm came to the Giants in the trade for Tarkington, Frank. Then Giants unloaded him and so on. It looked like his career was over. But Bud Grant has a habit of going back to old players of his whom he believed in, and he still believed in Bob Grimm. So Bob is back with the Vikes, and Fran throwing to Bob.
Actually, he was cut by the Bears last year. 37-yard field goal, Cox. And it's good. And the Vikings bring it close. They trail by 1. We're in the 3rd quarter, and we have a whale of a football game. If you just happen to have joined us, it looked like a 49er runaway in the opening moments. At one point, they led 10-0. Tarkington got hot, connected with a Rashad a couple of times, got him out of trouble. Then he hit Sammy White. Then they punched it in for the 1-yard line. And right now, San Francisco has a 1-point lead.
And we got a report about Bruce Elia, Frank. It is a strained right knee. Whether or not he'll see any more action tonight, undetermined. While awaiting the kickoff, some quick news today. For the first time in 25 years in the National League, co-rookies of the year named pitcher Butch Metzger, the fine reliever with the San Diego Padres, and Pat Zachary, who did so well for the Cincinnati Reds and did so well in the World Series, too.
You had a look at Johnson and Hofer. A low kick again by Fred Cox. And this is Kermit Johnson. And Kermit Johnson runs it back the way it should be run back, and he's out to the 35-yard line, hit there by Leonard Willis.
What a tough year for Larry Zonka, fellas. He's out for the year. He will undergo knee surgery tomorrow. That's another news report, ABC Sports.
First and 10 now for the 49ers at their own 35-yard line. We're in the third quarter with 12 minutes, 3 seconds remaining here in the third. Jackson, who had a tremendous first half, picks up where he left off. He gets 9. It'll be second down and 1. Let's pause right now 5 seconds and allow our local stations all along the line to identify themselves. Back at Candlestick Park, Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell and Alex Karras. Watching a very young 49er team, a team that's vastly different since Monty Clark came in a year ago. He's brought in 19 new players, 11 of them rookies. Second, less than a yard to go at the 45-yard line. Jackson, the call, the first down, up close to midfield. And let's meet the Minnesota Vikings defensive front four, long in the tooth, but they're good.
Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Doug Sutherland, defensive tackle, Superior, Wisconsin.
Alan Page, defensive tackle, Canton, Ohio.
Jim Marshall, defensive end, Columbus, Ohio.
Jim Marshall, who made his 234th consecutive start tonight. First and 10, 49ers just inside their own 50-yard line. Delvin Williams cutting back and getting inside the 45 of the Vikings. Paul Krause upends Williams. They get 6, maybe 7. Call it second down, a long 3. Last year, Williams had 631 yards. Former second-round draft pick. In 74, and he broke his wrist as a rookie, and they did not anticipate he was going to become the runner that he has. On second down, Jackson, with a good move, gets the first down. Went for the hole, it was closed, moved to the outside, gets the first at the 37-yard line.
Wilbur Jackson having a big night tonight. Another Jackson had a big day today. Reggie Jackson. They made it official in New York, though it amounted to old news by now. Reggie Jackson has signed a multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract with the New York Yankees. Wilbur Jackson hopes it will happen with him someday.
49ers opening up as they did in the first quarter on the ground and doing well by it. Darrell Williams gets a couple of yards. All right, let's meet the linebackers for the Minnesota Vikings. A rowdy bunch.
Matt Blair, linebacker, Dayton, Ohio. Jeff Seaman, middle linebacker, Bakersfield, California. Wally Hilgenberg, right linebacker from the friendly city of Wilton Junction, Iowa.
I must point out that 2 of these players tonight for the Vikings are from Bakersfield, California. Just down the road a piece. Second down and 9. And here's Jackson again, and this time he is corralled as Paul Krause. Moving up there, give Jackson a couple of yards. It'll be third down and 7.
That's Brent McClanahan. And you know something? His dad was in the booth with us tonight throughout the first half. Why? His dad was a teammate in junior college of fearless Frank Gifford, which just goes to show, Frank, that you are gaining on it.
Well, have you ever known another player to play at junior college at the age of 12? Third down, 7. Delvin Williams, left side. Alan Page gets a hold of him and cuts him off at the 30-yard line, short of the first down.
Another of the new Bo Reich was in the booth in the first half. We never got time to introduce him. Gary Matthews, now of the Atlanta Braves. You played the wrong sport, Frank.
I think you're probably right. There's Monty Clark. He played it and played it well. Started with the 49ers, went to Dallas, had 7 great years with Cleveland, many of them all pro. 48-yard field goal attempt. Steve Nickemeyer, Scott Bull holding. will be returning to Candlestick Park, and the Minnesota Vikings will take possession of their own 28-yard line.
Baggage from Eastern's Flight 399 can be claimed in Area 1.
Baggage claim is an airline's last chance to disappoint a customer. There's no better way to ruin a perfect flight than to make you wait for your bags right here. I'm Frank Borman, the president of Eastern Airlines. At Eastern, we believe the baggage claim is also a pretty good place to keep a customer happy. And the best way is to try to have his suitcase get here before he does. It means we really have to hustle. And since we handle over 40 million bags a year, we're bound to goof once in a while. But we're doing our best to cut down on delays, damage, and loss. We know what it means to you to be able to get off the airplane, get your suitcase, and go. Look, there are a lot of airlines out there you can fly besides Eastern. So if we want you to fly Eastern all the time, and we do, we have to earn our wings every day.
Kenny Anderson of the Cincinnati Bengals was the most efficient passer in the National Football League last year. He remains one of the finest quarterbacks in pro football. Right there, he hit Chip Myers. Look for that next Monday night as the Bengals, and for them, a must-win game, go against the Oakland Raiders with the best record in football. You know, I've been reading some drivel about how Oakland may not put out against Cincinnati.
You're right there.
Tell it to John Madden, Al Davis, and the Oakland Raiders. They won't buy it.
What did Madden say is so ridiculous I won't even comment on it, and it is just that. Here's Chuck Foreman. Chuck Foreman cuts back. That's a yard and a half. It'll be second down and 9. Tony Klein, Jimmy Webb, both in there defending out of that fine front four of the 49ers. Of course, they lost another good defensive end, Cedric Hartman, a week ago. He had a fractured ankle and underwent surgery. But they had 49 sacks coming into tonight's game. Second down. All at a long 8. There's McClanahan, and McClanahan is corralled out around the 37-yard line. It's going to be third down, a long 3. Frank Lemley, who had to replace Bruce Elia, is in the lineup defensively now at middle linebacker for the 49ers. And he is playing with a special protective covering on his helmet because he has a fractured cheekbone.
Now that's a sad shot. Poor Jim Plunkett on the sidelines.
He pulled a muscle in his ribcage on Wednesday, but he had been almost booed off the field over the last 4 weeks. McClanahan, he could not hold on. It would have been a first down. Little long. Dave Washington was right there. The one that Brent could have had.
I had mentioned earlier, Frank, that Stanford had won 2 Rose Bowls. I want no misunderstanding. I didn't want to connote that Plunkett had led them to those 2 victories. He led them to 1. Don Bunce led them to the other. The point I was making was that Stanford had won consecutive Rose Bowls.
Clabo, his 2 previous efforts, very nice, 46 and 47 yards. Single safety in the middle, Tony Leonard for the 49ers. Clabo hits another beauty. Leonard at his own 20-yard line. And Leonard covered well. Good pursuit there. Robert Miller was down there first, tripped him up. 44-yard punt by Clabo, 8-yard return.
All right, this is Anthony Leonard, number 42, and you know, a lot of people say, why don't you get as much yardage as you can? But he does a great job and almost breaks it to the outside. Now, I like this kind of effort. I like that kind of effort too.
First and 10 for the 49ers. Just short of their own 19-yard line. Handoff, Delvin Williams out over the 20, close to the 21. A gain of 2, it'll be second down and 8. Let's meet the defensive backs of the Minnesota Vikings.
Nate Wright, defensive back, Seaside, California. Nate Allen, defensive back, Georgetown, South Carolina.
Jeff Wright, defensive back, Edina, Minnesota. Paul Krause, safety, Flint, Michigan.
We are not watching Nate Allen tonight. He has a sprained ankle. Bobby Bryant is in there. It's 2nd down and 8. Delvin Williams gets away from Sutherland. Look out. Paul Krause made the save at the 40-yard line. It's a 49er first down, and Delvin Williams is really having quite a night.
49ers have been putting on some running show tonight. Remember, they had 173 yards rushing in the first half alone. Look at that hole. Look at Williams' paw through.
Carl Eller had a chance at him and just missed the block, and that's what they've been doing kind of all night. They've been just missing blocks. I mean, tackles, I'm sorry. Blocks are offense. Tackles are defense.
Delvin Williams has 124 yards on the night. He needs 17 for his 1,000 yards for the season.
Now, that was a block, Frank.
That was a block. Steve Lawson, I believe. Left side, number 65, 49ers. Illegal motion. He'll step off 5. Steve Lawson, as Howard mentioned earlier, came from Minnesota.
Illegal procedure. False start, number 65 on the offense. We have a first down.
I was going to say he came from Minnesota, so he probably understands Alan Page. If you don't get to him quick, you're not going to get him.
Look at that graphic. 236 yards between the two 49er backs. Minnesota a total of 86 yards.
I'll tell you, that has always hurt Minnesota in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. They give up the yardage on the ground. Jackson rips off some more. Out to the 47. A gain of 12 yards. Hit there by Bobby Bryant. It'll be 2nd down and 3.
Frank just made a very important point. As great as that Minnesota front four is and was, even when they were younger, the theory always was you could run right at them, and that was the best way to attack them.
Take a look at Jeff Seaman, who's over there filling the 4-hole, and roaring by him is young Robert Wilbur Jackson. All right, 2nd down and 3. Ball at the 47. Scott Bull looking for Washington, and he was neatly covered by Bobby Bryant. 4:38 remaining in the 3rd quarter. San Francisco leading by 1, 17-16. I like this Scott Bull so far tonight, Howard.
I do, because what he is a pretty cool dude. He doesn't panic. He hasn't made the big mistake, which the rookie quarterback is so often prone to do.
Has had the one interception. It was a diving interception on the part of Paul Krause. He's hanging in there pretty steady. 3rd down and 3. Washington out to the left. Jim Lash out to the right. Delvin Williams. And Williams is down, I believe, just about a half a yard short of the first down at midfield. Carl Eller closing down to make the stop. And on comes the punting unit for San Francisco. That means Tom Whittam. Dropping deep, number 80, Leonard Willis. There he is. Great speed out of Ohio State, a 4th-round draft pick.
This is the first time since 1971 that two 49er backs have gained over 100 yards in the same game.
Yeah, they did it a lot of times back in the 50s. Whittam going for the sidelines, and he catches it at the 16. Tom Whittam puts Minnesota in a hole at their own 16-yard line with a 34-yarder. We'll be back in just a moment.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Light beer from Miller, I love you. You got a third less calories than the regular beer, and really are less filling, which is something to cheer. But what I like above all the rest is the way you taste. You are the best. Yes, blue is the violet and red is the rose. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to break your nose.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Buick and Olds have now made their biggest cars smaller. We still build them like we used to at Lincoln Mercury. This plaque goes into every full-size 77 Marquis. Ride engineered by Lincoln Mercury. It tells you every inch of every Marquis is dedicated to its famous luxury ride to give you the peaceful feeling of a solid, well-built car. Mercury Marquis. Ride engineered by Lincoln Mercury.
Saturday, the Arizona 150 Indianapolis car race featuring the battle for the 1976 USAC Driving Championship between Johnny Rutherford and Gordon Johncock in the final race of the season. And the World Professional Skiing Championships, Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Back at Candlestick Park, San Francisco over Minnesota, 17-16. We'll be returning, of course, next week. It'll be Oakland and Cincinnati. And, of course, Saturday night, NCAA college football, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Arkansas and Texas will get it on. 1st and 10 for Minnesota. Trailing by 1, 3:50 remaining in the third quarter. Tarkenton all the way. Hangs it up for Rashad. He does not handle.
I hope we can get a shot on the sideline. That's Sammy White. He hasn't... Good work, Chester Forty, our peerless director. Sammy hasn't played since he caught that touchdown pass. Let's see if we can find out if he's hurt. That touchdown pass in the first half.
I've been watching him. He's walking up down the sidelines. He is not hanging around with the trainer like he was injured or anything. Maybe Bud Grant just wants to take a look at some of his other men. Bob Grimm is in there now, top of your screen, number 26, but certainly Bud Grant knows about him. Draw play, Foreman. Finds a little gap. Squirts for about 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6, or 3rd down and 6, rather. Well, now it's marked inside the 20. Call it 3rd and 7. Chuck Foreman, who earlier tonight went over the 1,000-yard mark. That's what he has for the evening. But the surprise, or not the surprise either, but the fine showing has been the 2 running backs of the 49ers.
And the showing of the 49er offensive line. Foreman's efficiency isn't measured just in yards gained rushing. We re-emphasize his brilliance as a pass receiver.
3rd down, 7. Tarkenton.
Look out, Fran.
Down goes Francis. Tommy Hart. We saw him earlier in the year against the Rams, and he put on a one-man show down there. He sacked Ram quarterbacks 6 times on his own that night on a 10-sack night. And let's look again. Good team effort. There comes number 74, Cleveland Elam, to make sure Francis didn't go his way. And here comes Tommy Hart. Tommy Hart, many of you might not have known, was a sprinter when he was in college and ran a 9.700. Now he's a defensive end.
Crowd loves it. The 2nd sack of the night. 51 on the air. They trail Baltimore by just 1.
Neil Claybo set to punt. 49ers should get good field position. Tony Leonard is back. Claybo hangs one up and is taken there by Bruce Rhodes. And he is immediately corralled at the 35-yard line. First man down there, Matt Blair. And now the crowd comes alive. They want the 49ers to move in. They have a 1-point lead with 2:20 remaining in the third quarter.
And we've just gotten word that Sammy White has a slight muscle pull. Up till now, Bud Grant has shown no disposition to risk his rookie star. That's why he's on the sidelines.
And you can't really blame him. Sammy White's had quite a year, coming in at night, 39 receptions, but 6 of them were touchdowns. All right, here we go. 2:20 remaining in the third quarter. 49ers playing even, if anything, a little better than the Vikings tonight. Flag down. Delvin Williams collected there by Sutherland and Matt Blair, but a whistle blew and a flag fell.
Bonnie Clark is some kind of coach, Howard. You know, they're really playing with a rookie quarterback. Everyone knows it. Of course, the Minnesota Vikings know it. They're still out in front, and it just means to me that he's really solidified that offensive line. Defensively, they've always been fairly sound. I think they boast a little bit of their defensive backs. But all in all, he's really turned the picture around here.
Illegal motion against the 49ers. Bonnie Clark talking to his staff upstairs. Who was that? 1st and 15, ball at the 41-yard line. Jackson, and he breaks to the outside. And look at Wilbur Jackson. What a night he's having. He's finally caught by Wally Hilgenberg. But he gets 13 yards out of it. It'll be 2nd down and 2.
Well, watch the block. Alan Page now. He goes to the outside, but he's as you can see, the offensive end just knocked everyone down. He got mixed up in the flow, and Wilbur Jackson, following his interference, goes all the way down the field. Attaboy, Wilbur. They teach him down there in Alabama.
Boy, and they are really putting the yardage on tonight against the Vikings. All right, 2nd down and 2. Ball at the 28-yard line. Delvin Williams. And Williams pounds inside the 25, has the first down. Alan Page came around the horn to make the stop for Minnesota. But another first down for the 49ers.
You mentioned what a fine coach Monty Clark is, Alex. That's been known around the league for years. While he was working for Don Shula, Shula was openly tub-thumping for Monty to get the head coaching job he thought he deserved. And he was one of those interviewed by Carol Rosenblum when Chuck Knox was finally hired. Little to choose between the two.
Delvin Williams needs 16 yards for his 1,000 on the year. This is Wilbur Jackson. I don't believe he got back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Doug Sutherland is there, and Jeff Seaman at the bottom of the pile.
As we're watching this great display tonight by Delvin Williams and Wilbur Jackson, one harkens back to Frank Gifford's time with names and then it was Kezar Stadium like Joe Perry and Hugh McElhenney.
Oh, did they have him?
Y.A. Tittle.
John Henry Johnson.
That's right. He had some of his best years here.
Leo Nominally. Bob St. Clair, I just saw him. He's still as big as he used to be, Frank.
Still eat that raw steak?
Oh, yeah.
2nd down and 10. Seconds ticking away here in the 3rd quarter. And Delvin Williams slips, regains his feet, as he can do because he was not touched. He'll have a 3rd down at about 7 coming up. And there is the final second ticking off the scoreboard clock here in the 3rd quarter. You're watching another exclusive of ABC Sports. And with the score, Minnesota 16, San Francisco 17 will return after this word from our local stations.
An alien force wants to destroy the bionic woman.
It is alive.
Jamie, there's more of them coming.
Then,
You know who sent him out there to his grave? You, his mother.
Somebody walked off with $12,000 that belongs to me.
Beretta is out to save a life right after the bionic woman.
Wednesday starting at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
The San Francisco area champions of the Ford Dealers of America punt, pass, and kick competition have just been presented their trophies by Mr. John O'Donnell, San Jose District. The 8-year-old winner is number 65, Bradley Hunter, North Bend, Oregon. The 9-year-old winner, number 61, Robert Mahalani, Pahala, Hawaii. 10-year-old winner, number 18, Lane Santiago, Hauula, Hawaii. The 11-year-old champion, number 15, Aaron Polson from Grover City, California. Number 19 won the 12-year-old competition. That's Peter Incaviglia, Monterey, California. And number 72, Mike Mancini, won the 13-year-old title from Redwood City. Congratulations. The best of luck in the NFC Division semifinals, December the 12th in New Orleans.
That was a good mouthful, Mr. Gifford.
Those Hawaiians sometimes can be a little difficult. Great bunch of kids performing here tonight. We begin the 4th quarter. At the moment, San Francisco has a 1-point lead over Minnesota. San Francisco has a 3rd down. They're at the 21-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. A 3rd down and 7. Young quarterback going all the way. Scott Bull, the rookie from Arkansas. He's number 19. Faced with a tough situation. watch out. Hilgenberg came on the blitz. Scott Paul very calmly stepped up in front, but meanwhile, downfield, number 87, Jim Lash was being covered well by number 43, Nate Wright. And out comes Steve Mickemeyer. Had a quick look at Lash. He also was with the Minnesota Vikings last year.
This is a big, big field goal, guys.
Oh, this could be important. This will put it out of field goal range for the Vikings. Steve Mickemeyer, a 38-yard attempt. Boy, it's long enough, it's straight enough, and it's good enough. Steve Mickemeyer has really helped the 49er cause, and that moves them out to a 4-point lead over Minnesota.
I haven't heard them boo. Remember when he hit the field goal post? The goal post?
Well, hang around.
That's the truth.
San Francisco playing all-out football tonight. They are mathematically alive in the Western Division of the NFC, but that's about it. Minnesota has clinched their total. As I said, they are mathematically still alive, but it's not very probable.
Yeah, but you know, this is a matter of inches, this game, Frank.
Not that kind of an inch, though. Okay, Leonard Willis is going to take it out of the end zone. And Leonard Willis, nifty running out to the 32-yard line.
He made it stick. He got past the 20 and picked up 12 extra yards, and that, of course, is the standard test. Now, let's see what Mr. Tarkenton can do.
Let's look at Willis again. If he had kept it up to speed right here, he paused for about a fraction, saw the hole, burst through it, and again, I'll remind you, he has that 9.3 speed, turned it on, and gets the Vikings out over their own 32-yard line. There he is, a 4th-round draft pick out of Ohio State. Fran Tarkenton all the way for the Vikings. And Tarkenton hanging it up for Rashad. I don't think Rashad thought that ball was coming his way.
Boy, excuse me, Frank. Oh, Cleveland Elam really gave Fran a shot on that play back there.
He's all over the quarterback, Elam. In the meantime, on that throw that Frank was just talking about, Rashad turned left and then had to turn right. And Jimmy Johnson, number 37, was right there with him. Look at him.
You know, yeah, but he could have really have laid it on him, Alex. He pulled up on it.
Yeah. Well, not really, Frank.
Not
all mean and obscene.
Now, those two youngsters in the middle of that 49er line are all right. Cleveland Elam, 72, Jimmy Webb, 74. 2nd down and 10. It's shouting defense here at Candlestick Park. McClanahan in motion. Tarkenton on the rollout. McClanahan gets the ball out near the 35-yard line for a gain of about 3. It'll be 3rd down and 7. Tommy Hart rolled over there along with Jimmy Johnson to make the stop. Well, our minicam cameraman wandered up in the stands.
What has he been drinking or what? What is it with him?
Just getting a little tired. Bud Grant looking on. Won his 8th division out of 9 years last week with a win over Green Bay. Third down, flags fall as Foreman goes down far short of the first down after the 37. But again, a flag is down.
Well, this is the 2nd time we've had the
procedure call against the Vikings. That will be declined.
2nd time we've had the 49ers this year, Gibb. And each time they've given us some show. When they racked up the Rams in the Memorial Coliseum in L.A. 16-0.
Wasn't even a contest.
No, we didn't. And we didn't think that they were likely to have the successive setbacks that ensued. 2 of them so tough, St. Louis and Washington.
The only one they really lost by any margin was last week against those same Rams. Claybo set to punt. Leonard is deep. And Claybo really hits another one high, and flag is down. Leonard is down. Flags all over the lot. 46-yard punt.
Undoubtedly a clip.
Referee Don Wedge looking over the possibilities. And now being marked off against San Francisco. Here's the call.
All right, Alex, let's take a
foul. Clipping, number 38 on the return. First down.
How
can you pick those things out like that? I mean, I'm all over the field. I never get to see that.
Well, there it is. They all saw it. Bob Farrell, the clipper. And who was the clippee? It was Autry Beeman. First and 10, the 49ers now with a 4-point lead, 20-16, move from their own 10-yard line. Wilbur Jackson, and what a night he's having, along with Delvin Williams, gets out to the 15-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
This is what I hate to see, because this is the most dangerous part of the game, folks, and that's when you clip someone, there goes the knees, and of course you don't see it coming, and it's called an El Samich.
Well, why would he do that?
Because he's mean.
Obvious. All right, 2nd down and 7. Ball just short of the 15-yard line. Delvin Williams. And look at Williams. Watch out if he gets to the clear. Oh, boy, can he accelerate. Out over the 40. First down, Delvin Williams. 27-yard pickup. And Delvin Williams is remaining on the field. He's got his 1,000 yards, but that at this moment is unimportant.
What a show that young man has put on tonight. Until tonight, we thought the best single game or running exhibition we had seen in any game this year was rendered by Lydell Mitchell when the Colts crushed the Houston Oilers in Baltimore a few Monday nights back. But tonight, I think Delvin Williams has exceeded even Lydell's performance that night.
He's still on the field. He has 1,015 for the season. We'll be back in a moment.
This is my first car. Where do I get good auto service without a hassle?
Don't you know there's good news round the corner? Goodyear, wherever you are. Goodyear, good and close to home.
Presenting the Goodyear promise for hassle-free auto service. We do professional work. We only do the work you authorize. We return worn-out parts for your inspection. No hassle, no problems, no fooling.
Goodyear tires and Goodyear service for more Goodyears in your car.
Some of the greatest beaches in the world are not very far away. By Boeing jetliner. Malibu, Kaanapali, St. John. Of course, some people have everything right in their own backyard. But if you don't, and you'd like to be alone, get hold of your airline and get on a Boeing jetliner. There's a lonely beach somewhere in the world waiting for you.
Now let's look at what happened on that last run by Delvin Williams when the fine back got hurt. Look, great fake. Page had outside responsibility, and it looked like he thought that Jackson had the ball. Actually, it looked like he tackled Jackson. That enabled Williams to spring loose, and now Delvin comes walking off the field. We'll find out the extent of the damage to Delvin as quickly as we can and report it to you. But it was interesting to see that fake when Allen had the outside responsibility.
Yeah, that's right. He did have outside responsibility, and what Jackson did was terrific. Was he finally ended up grabbing him. He was the tackler.
So Delvin Williams over the 1,000-yard mark. Officially has 155 yards on the night. That gives him 1,014 for the season. He does not appear to be too seriously injured. We'll be checking on that later. It is the ankle, not the knee. On a first down, Paul Hofer, another rookie from Mississippi, over the left side, gets a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
This team has given us some show tonight. We hope they're giving you the same show because they're playing a great game, the 49ers. In fact, the whole city has been giving us a good time. Today, Alex and I, walking the streets of San Francisco, ran across Carl Malden and Richard Hatch playing a scene in that hit ABC series.
2nd down and 8. Ball just over the 43-yard line. This is Jackson, and he runs right into Doug Sutherland and sprawls forward for a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Williams has 155 yards tonight. Jackson 141.
This ballpark is going crazy. They put up the figures on Delvin Williams on the electric scoreboard, and the fans are standing as one and giving Williams an ovation.
Oh, I just couldn't hear myself at all. Right on 3rd down, a flag flies, and we are going to have a delay of game called against the 49ers. It's starting to say the 49ers have rushed for 300 yards against the Minnesota Vikings. Jackson has 141. Hofer has 3. Bull has 1. As I told you, Williams had 155. Wow. Penalty. Delay of game. Moves the 49ers back inside their own 40. It'll be 3rd down along 11. We have 11:22 remaining in the 4th quarter. San Francisco over Minnesota 2016. There's his ball. Oh, and Matt Blair almost got there for the interception.
That could have been the big mistake that young Bull has avoided all night. That's the kind of pass that was picked off twice by Prentice McRae against Joe Namath, which we showed a week or so ago as the plays of the week. Matt Blair was positioned to take that and move right on in.
Scott Bull walked to the sidelines. I bet the heart was in the throat because he saw that big number 59, Matt Blair, almost come up with it. Here's Tom Whittam on 4th down. Deep Leonard Willis. Single safety. The Vikings have 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Bobby Bryant, number 20, was going for it. Fine punt by Whittam. Here comes Willis. 44-yard punt. And it was Paul Hofer, the rookie from Mississippi, down for the tackle. We'll be right back.
Sometimes I cannot bear to come out of my bus. I suppose it's because I like so much my private moments. The feeling of being apart from everyone in my own retreat. Or being alone with Catherine Deneuve for a few moments. I think we must spoil ourselves with little indulgences. Like Chanel No. 5, bath powder and spray cologne. We have no words for this pleasure. We know what it is. Chanel.
These are the cars that Ford built. They all come with a starter drive that Ford built. Instead of 4 cams, a Ford Motor Company starter drive has 5 cams, so it should last 50% longer. These are the starter drives that start the cars that Ford built. Ford built. It's a lot of things that are good built. It's simple. Ford wants to be your car company.
Earlier, we told you about Kenny Anderson, and at that time, you looked at him throwing to Chip Myers. But his favorite target is the young man from San Diego State, number 85, Isaac Curtis. That combination will certainly be prominent next Monday night at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum as the Bengals go in against the Oakland Raiders at 11-1, the Bengals at 9-3, and the Steelers still hopeful of getting into the playoffs. The biggest game of the year for the Bengals.
That was Delvin Williams, and you saw some of the handiwork of the trainers taping up that right ankle. 1st and 10. Harkinen hands off to Robert Miller. He runs right into Cleveland Elam. He maybe got a yard out of it. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
sometimes I think, Frank, the trainers are more remarkable than the performers.
Well, they have to be. You know, there's a lot of things that goes on in football players' heads. Trainers know them better than the doctors, really. Here comes Elam.
Come back here, you.
Sold of Robert Miller, a second-year man out of Kansas. Tarkenton, and goes down again. Tommy Hart once again.
What a pass rush. This is exactly what we saw against the Rams. Only that night, they sacked the quarterback 10 times. 6 by Tommy Hart, 2 by Cleveland Elam, 2 by the absent Cedric Hardman. Now, this was the 3rd sack on Francis tonight. That's a total of 52 on the year for the 49ers. They tie the Baltimore Colts for the league lead in that department.
There's a little youngster on a very cool night. They're watching a super football game. Tarkenton again on 3rd down. Fires into a crowd, and Bob Graham had a hold of it and could not handle it. He just threw it into a group. Jimmy Johnson was in there, and he is down on the field. Now he's up and walking off. Let's look at it again. Again,
limping off. Let's look at it again.
Tarkenton rolling out to his left. That was Willie Harper putting the pressure on, and Jimmy Johnson, I believe, got a hand around it. Jimmy Johnson limped off, and here comes Neil Claybo on 4th down. The 49ers should get good field position once again. There's Tony Leonard. He's a 5th-round draft pick out of Virginia Union. Claybo, Leonard. Flag down, we're going to have another clip. 40-yard punt. And I believe we're going to have another clip. Kermit Johnson, I don't believe it got in front. Ooh, and that hurts. They would have had the ball right at midfield. Number 47, I believe, Kermit Johnson. There it is, right there. Late, behind. So the 49ers lead the Minnesota Vikings 20-16, 9:52 remaining in the 4th quarter. They'll have a 1st and 10 at their own 33.
Some want a home in the valley, some want a house on a hill. Savings and loans lend the money to buy, they build your money as well. Put your money where it builds. At your savings and loans. Put your money where it builds. America. At your savings and loans.
Now, I'm a man who's known for his pleasures. These 2 I train, and this one I drink. Light beer from Miller. It's got a 1/3 less calories than their regular beer, and it's less filling. But what I love best is the way it tastes. What a pleasure. Right, guys? Am I a trainer, or am I a trainer?
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
The story at Candlestick Park in San Francisco on a cool night. Temperatures expected to go into the 30s tonight. With 9:52 remaining in the 4th quarter, San Francisco leads the Vikings 20-16.
I'm going to be married Saturday, and Howard and Al, how about the advice?
Any advice?
Well, let's go with you, kid.
No, my advice is don't do it.
Uh-oh, Emmy's here, Howard.
Oh, I didn't mean it that way.
1st and 10. Wilbur Jackson. And Jackson continues to grind out the yardage. He's out to the 39-yard line. It's a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Let me make this perfectly clear, Frank Gifford. As you know, I am the happiest married man in America. 32 years of dedication and devotion.
I wonder about Emmy, though.
He's here with me tonight.
Our house mother, always traveling with us. Second down. Oh, Paul Hofer was really popped. Number 69, Doug Sutherland. Doug Sutherland having quite a game for the Vikings tonight. But they have been being run all over the ballpark.
Well, you know, it's so strange to be able to run as much as they have on the Vikings, because they know they have a rookie quarterback. The 49ers have a rookie quarterback, and they know primarily they were going to run tonight, yet they've done a good job on the ground all night.
Third down, there was a loss of a yard. Third down and 6. And Wilbur Jackson collected there by Carl Eller. And that will be 4th down.
Well, there's a lot of things you can't do against the Vikings. One of them is, of course, do this play, which is kind of a draw play, like a fake pass, because, well, in this case, Eller's just going to the inside and spots him and comes right down with him. But you can't really run against them. They've been around so long that kind of offensive play isn't worth, I don't think, too much.
Brings up a 4th down. Tom Whittam, Leonard Willis dropping deep. There is Willis. Not large, but he has that great speed. Willis finds the handle at the 34 and is immediately smothered. A hustling bunch of 49ers tonight.
All right, let's look at this game in perspective. In their last 5 possessions, the Vikings have given the ball away after 3 downs. They have had to punt. Now go back to the top of our telecast, where we prescribed, in effect, the whole game. We said it would be Tarkenton and Foreman, but we pointed out the San Francisco defense. And that's been the story, except for the San Francisco offense. Skip.
Foreman on a 1st and 10, turns the corner, and Mel Phillips hustles up from his strong safety position to take him out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Gain of 3, 2nd down, 7.
In other words, the San Francisco defense has contained Minnesota. The net result, the Minnesota defense has been out there often. Jimmy Webb appears to be hurt, number 74. And San Francisco, given offensive opportunity on offensive opportunity, has capitalized with the brilliance of their running game tonight. We'll be right back.
You know what kind of parts I put in my VW? Motorcraft from Ford. Wow, there's some tough parts. Remember those taxi test commercials? They put Motorcraft batteries, shocks, oil filters, tune-up parts in 150 taxis. After 3 million miles, less than 1% of the parts couldn't take it. Tough enough for taxis, tough enough for me. Oh.
Ask for Motorcraft where you buy parts or service your car. They're tested tough.
If anybody loves trains, it's me, Johnny Cash. You know, if your boy's under 10 like mine is, he needs a big Lionel like this Black River Freight. Lionel also makes HO gauge trains for older kids, like this Burlington 181. But for smaller hands, the big Lionel is easier to handle and put on the track. This Christmas, get your boy a train that's built for the way young boys play. A big, rugged Lionel. Lionel, the big train for small hands.
Wilbur Jackson, part of a tremendous rushing tandem for the 49ers tonight, along with Delvin Williams. Meanwhile, his teammate, Jimmy Webb, is being administered to out on the field. He was shaken up on that last play. There's Delvin Williams. Apparently, not too bad of a bruise on his ankle. That's his story for tonight. He's plus over 1,000 yards.
Seems to be walking it off.
And here comes Jimmy Webb. Second-year man out of Mississippi State, a #1 draft pick of a year ago, and a fine football player. Don't forget, Saturday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time. A shootout down that Southwestern Conference, Arkansas at Texas. Second down and 6. The ball at the 32-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. 7 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. Robert Miller, 35. Chuck Foreman, 44. Those are the setbacks, and I think one of the Vikings went early. Right side of the line. And it's being marked off.
False start, offense, number 62, 2nd down.
Ed White, the right guard, number 62. Coming back this week, he has been out of the Vikings lineup with a sprained ankle. He played his college football right across the bay at the University of California, did Ed White. 2nd down and 11. Ball at the 27-yard line. Make it the 28. comes Foreman. And Foreman cutting back, and he runs into that 49er pursuit. Gets out to the 32-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and 7.
You can really tell when the ball club is playing because if you look at the San Francisco 49ers defensively, there isn't one guy knocking someone down. There's 3 or 4 guys all the time. You know they're really up and they really want the ball game. Minnesota's making mental mistakes they haven't made all season tonight. Offsides, things like that.
All right, Sammy White, the fine rookie receiver, remains on the bench. It's Bob Grimm and Ahmad Rashad, the wide receivers. Over the middle, it's complete to Bob Grimm. And hustling up there to make the stop is Ralph McGill, but it's a first down for Minnesota. 44-yard line.
First down to 44.
And Bob Grimm, who was cut by the Chicago Bears, picked up by Bud Grant, is getting his shot tonight with Sammy White, a slight muscle pull on the bench. Minnesota with an edge in time.
I wouldn't have believed that.
That I don't believe.
Yeah.
But they trail by 4.
Let's recheck that statistic.
Tarkenton. And he hangs it up, and we are going to have an interference call, I'm pretty sure, against Jimmy Johnson. Flag is down. Tarkenton, again under pressure, had to dump it off. Jimmy Johnson was all tied up with Ahmad Rashad. He said, no, I wasn't.
Because he can't be sitting in his pocket, go!
Illegal use of hands.
Number 37, first down.
Jimmy Johnson, illegal use of hands, automatic first down. Penalty marked off from the line of scrimmage. So Minnesota, 1st and 10, their own 49-yard line. There it is. That is what you call calling it by a hair. Oh, and Robert Miller gets about 3 out of it. It'll be 2nd down and 7, and it was Bill Sandifer who rushed right by Robert Miller, almost got the handoff from Tarkenton. Bill Sandifer is quite a story. Number 1 draft pick in 74. Hurt his knee. Missed much of that year. Rushing yardage. San Francisco has 337 on the ground. Minnesota 104. 2nd and 7. All at the 48-yard line of the 49ers. Tarkenton. It's Rashad. Short of the first down. Down inside the 44-yard line. Covered there by Bruce Taylor.
Report on Jimmy Webb, fellas. He's got a sprained ankle, not expected to return tonight. Just coming into our booth, the great executive producer of television, Quinn Martin. And as I look at Minnesota, which finds a first down most wanted now, I'm reminded of his Saturday night show. There's Jimmy Webb, Most Wanted, starring your old friend Bob Stack, who taught you how to trap shoot, Frank.
Well, he taught me how to ski. Roseberry did. That was it. 3rd and 3. Cleveland Elam gets in on Tarkenton. He gets rid of the ball, and the flag is down. Robert Miller was there. Bob Grimm was there. And Dave Washington, one linebacker there, was back defending.
One of the 49ers is down. Injured.
That's Ralph McGill, I believe, number 49. I can see the 9. And indication that was the call is going to go against Minnesota. Hard-hitting game tonight. 5:37 remaining in the 4th quarter, and down in the field, Ralph McGill will be back.
The new Quintrix 2 color picture tube from Panasonic brings you a very lifelike picture. Because Quintrix 2 is our new inline picture tube with an extra pre-focus lens that concentrates and focuses the electron beam to bring you Panasonic's sharpest picture ever. So lifelike, you may even feel you're part of the picture. Quintrix 2. One more reason Panasonic is just slightly ahead of our time.
Fourth down, penalty against Minnesota, decline by the 49ers. Neil Claybo to kick, and 49ers don't even have a deep man. They know Claybo is very good at kicking to the out of bounds. This time he just hangs it up.
Pretty good.
Boy, and it takes a Minnesota. I don't understand that. The 49ers were not going with their blocking unit. They did not have a man deep. Could have been just a mistake. Let's take a look at that penalty. This is Ahmad Rashad. The illegal use of hands called. He's in there against Bruce
he
Taylor.
was pushing off, no question about that.
He got him out of the way.
Here I am. Nobody around me. I can't understand why. He's lying right over there.
Meanwhile, Tarkenton was running for his life.
So true. All right, first and 10 for the 49ers. They have a 20-16 lead with 5:22 remaining in the fourth period. They begin from their own 5-yard line. Over Jackson. Continues to pile up the yardage. This time only a couple. It'll be second down and 8. Robert Jackson, when he was at University of Alabama, he was alternating in Bear Bryant's backfield down there. And nevertheless, as a senior, he gained over 1,500 yards, averaging a little over 7 yards a carry.
Well, the Big Bear had so many shock troops during Jackson's term there. He had nothing but players to call upon. Kept fresh ones in all the time.
7-yard line, second down and 7. Oh, this time he runs into the big man in the middle, Jeff Seaman. And he'll lose about a half a yard.
We've talked about Jeff Seaman during the course of the evening, the young man from Stanford University, top draft choice, not too many years ago, still very young, and he's come into his own as one of the finest middle linebackers in the league. They're very well fortified with young linebackers, Matt Blair and, of course, Seaman, also Amos Martin and Fred McNeil.
Third down and 8, a loss of 1 yard. Delvin Williams back in the ball game, and he's stretched out at the 5-yard line, the original line of scrimmage. And here comes the punting unit. That means Tom Whittem and the 49ers will have to brace themselves down here. They would not want to get a block down here.
There is little time left in the game, yet plenty of time for the Minnesota Vikings, who should have good field position after this punt. 3:43 left and counting down.
We're going down to the wire again.
Willis is deep. Whittem right at the back of the end zone. They're going for the return, and it's a low kick, the kind you can run back. Taken there by Autry Beeman, and Beeman rambles inside of the 25-yard line. And 49ers are in a little bit of trouble with 3:22 remaining in the game. Minnesota has a first and 10, 24-yard line of the 49ers. And we'll quickly pause 5 seconds and allow our local stations all along the line to identify themselves. First and 10, Minnesota Vikings. They trail the San Francisco 49ers 2016. Grim in motion, Chuck Foreman. Foreman cuts back, lunges forward, gets about 6. It'll be second down and 4. Hard-hitting football game. Minnesota came in rather lifeless at the beginning of this game. 49ers running all over them, up, down, sideways, and in the course of doing that, the 49ers rolled up 339 yards to Minnesota's 110. At one point, it was a 10-0 lead for the 49ers. But it is down to 4, and Minnesota is threatening. Second down and 4. Ball at the 19-yard line of the 49ers. Foreman again. Skip Vanderbunt, number 52, over there to make the stop short of the first down.
49ers have played a spectacular game defensively. We've got another injury now to a 49er on the field.
Cleveland Elam is down now for the 49ers. Jimmy Webb is already on the bench.
And they've lost Cedric Hardman for the year. How much can they take?
Hardman broke an ankle last week. Webb hobbled with a sprained ankle on the sidelines. Now Elam, another fine second-year man, is down on the field. We have 2:34 remaining here in the fourth quarter at Candlestick Park. San Francisco 20, Minnesota 16. We'll be back.
Hi, I'm Walt Garrison, and I don't smoke, but I still enjoy tobacco. Smokeless tobacco, like Skoal here. Just a pinch between my cheek and gum, and I get full tobacco pleasure. And since I don't light up, I can use it doing almost anything. So go smokeless with Skoal, Copenhagen, or Happy Days Mint. The tobaccos you don't have to smoke to enjoy.
Cleveland Elam coming off the field. There he's being assisted off. And he is limping. Alex, you got a show coming up for ABC, a children's show, I understand.
Well, it's this Wednesday.
Hello once again, everybody. I'm Chris Berman, and welcome to Monday Night Memories. Tonight we'll take a look back at two games featuring four-time Super Bowl participants, the Minnesota Vikings and the Pittsburgh Steelers. In 1976, the Vikings were in the middle of a 7-year string of NFC Central Division titles, while in 1979, the Steelers boasted 7 straight AFC Central titles. We'll return to both teams' glory days when the Vikings traveled to face upstart San Francisco in 1976, and the Steelers visited division rival Houston in 1979. We'll be back with both games right after these words. By week 12 of the NFL's 1976 season, eventual NFC champion Minnesota had already clinched first place in the Central Division. At stake for them in a Monday night battle with San Francisco would be the home field advantage in the playoffs, if you consider it an advantage to play in the mid-December tundra of Metropolitan Stadium. The Vikings had an explosive offense. Fran Tarkenton, Chuck Foreman, and Ahmad Rashad would propel Minnesota to its 4th Super Bowl appearance. And the veteran Purple People Eater defensive line of Jim Marshall, Carl Eller, and Alan Page routinely disabled opposing offenses. San Francisco's offense was already crippled. Quarterback Jim Plunkett couldn't play after he injured his side in a midweek practice, and defensive end Cedric Hardman broke an ankle a week earlier and would not suit up either. Healthy for the 49ers was its rushing attack. Delvin Williams and Wilbur Jackson were both threats to run 1,000 yards in a given year. This was a must-win game for San Francisco. One more loss after 4 in a row would eliminate them from playoff competition. A win for San Francisco could help the 49ers to their first winning season since 1972. While a picturesque Bay Area sunset was the serene setting outside of San Francisco's Candlestick Park, inside, two playoff contenders were anything but congenial. San Francisco's Monty Clark was in his first and only season as 49ers head coach after spending 5 years advising the Miami Dolphin offensive line. The newest student in Clark's starting lineup, untested Scott Bull. The Arkansas rookie replaced injured 49er quarterback Jim Plunkett. Bull's last start was a New Year's Day Cotton Bowl victory against the Georgia Bulldogs. This time, the Bulldogs were in his backfield. Running backs Delvin Williams, number 24, and Wilbur Jackson formed one of the NFL's most potent ground games. On this night, the 49ers faced Jim Marshall, Alan Page, and a veteran Minnesota defense known as the Purple People Eaters. But the first course proved to be a little too much for Minnesota to stomach. Delvin Williams would rush for 1,203 yards in 1976, a new San Francisco record. He went on to earn All-Pro honors that year, the NFL's number 3 rusher behind legends O.J. Simpson and Walter Payton. Wilbur Jackson, number 40, was more of a meat and potatoes runner, yet quite reliable to bring home the gravy. Jackson scored the game's first touchdown, culminating a 51-yard drive as San Francisco quickly established a running game that would take the early pressure off of Scott Bull. Opposing quarterbacks could rarely escape 49er defensive pressure, not with number 53 Tommy Hart around. Hart's 16 sacks led the team, and he was named a starter in the Pro Bowl. Another All-Pro, Cleveland Elam, number 72, and Jimmy Webb combined for 21.5 more sacks in 1976. And an occasional belly flop. Excuse me, Miss Manners. While quarterback Fran Tarkenton wasn't always a sitting duck, he frequently found his wings clipped. The 49er Gold Rush led the league in sacks and treated running backs with similar disdain. San Francisco's gang-tackling style slowed even the great Chuck Foreman in the first quarter. However, Foreman did go on to run for 93 yards in the game. The 49ers' next possession netted a 45-yard field goal by Steve Mickemeyer, increasing San Francisco's lead to 10-0. Tarkenton could do no right against the 49ers. He tried tossing a glider, but San Francisco's radar detected it early. Tarkenton completed less than half his passes in the game, and the Vikings were forced to punt 7 times. While teammates grew frustrated, Tarkenton remained cool, and eventually Minnesota's sleeping offense caught more than a glimpse of success. Wake-up calls were placed to Tarkenton's wide receivers, and finally, the connection was free of distortion. Tarkenton first singled out number 28, Ahmad Rashad, the all-time Minnesota reception leader. On the other side, Tarkenton lined up Sammy White, voted the NFL Rookie of the Year in 1976, and the Vikings' number 2 receiver of all time. This touchdown brought the Vikes to within 3 points, 10-7. Then Tarkenton went right back to Rashad, who was finding a home behind the 49er defense. Although this was Ahmad Rashad's first season in Minnesota, his timing with Tarkenton was impeccable. A replay of this touchdown shows how Rashad occupied cornerback Bobby Taylor until the last possible moment, then broke free to meet a perfect touchdown pass. With a little more than a half remaining, Tarkenton stole San Francisco's momentum and their advantage. The Vikings. November nights in San Francisco are known to be a little bit chilly, but the 49ers weren't about to let their offense cool off. They couldn't afford to. Minnesota already had a 3-point lead and was impressive passing the ball early in the game. As the second quarter neared completion, San Francisco coaches plotted a strategy designed to provide the 49ers with the upper hand at halftime. No secret here, San Francisco would continue running the ball against the Vikings. Backup quarterback Scott Bull was a capable replacement for Jim Plunkett. The ground game, though, is the spinach that gives the San Francisco offense its muscle. Delvin Williams and Wilbur Jackson combined for almost 2,000 yards in 1976. Williams was the first San Francisco back in 17 years to gain 1,000 yards in a season. But as the first half came to a close, Bull was forced to open it up. There was no time to flaunt a clock-eating rushing attack. This is one of the more efficient ways to move downfield in a hurry. Nate Wright was the guilty party here, interfering with San Francisco receiver Gene Washington. The ball was spotted at the 1, where Scott Bull demonstrated the most direct way to get from point A to point B. Bull scored the first touchdown of his NFL career, giving San Francisco a 17-13 halftime lead. The matchup of the veteran Viking defense against the rookie quarterback had yet to turn into the mismatch most expected, but beginner's luck began to fade for Bull in the second half. The Vikings' pass rush left Bull no options, and Minnesota's linebackers began filling holes once owned by 49er runners. The real Minnesota defense had finally surfaced, a defense that makes its own breaks by putting pressure on the quarterback. NFL all-time interception leader Paul Krause, number 22, swiped this Scott Bull pass. Fran Tarkenton once again was in position to give Minnesota the lead. But the Viking offense sputtered. Passes skidded off fingertips. Minnesota was forced to settle for a Fred Cox field goal, still trailing San Francisco by a point. But stopping the 49er running game would be tougher than completing a New York Times crossword puzzle. Pro Bowl wide receiver Gene Washington caught only one pass this night, but he wasn't needed for any more. Running back Wilbur Jackson joined Delvin Williams in gaining more than 150 yards, marking only the third time in league history that two backs on the same team gained at least 150 yards in one game. This run by Jackson set up a 38-yard field goal attempt for Steve Mickemeyer. The kicker made his second three-pointer of the night, and San Francisco extended its lead to 20-16 midway through the fourth quarter. The 49er offense finally ran out of gas, and 49er punter Tom Whittam ran out of footing. This botched 33-yard punt gave the Vikings good field position at the San Francisco 47-yard line. 1:19 remained, and with Minnesota trailing by 4, Tarkenton had only the end zone to shoot for. The scrambler appeared trapped for a 23-yard loss, but as he did for 18 years, Tarkenton served only the minimum sentence. He took a 15-yard intentional grounding penalty instead of the sack, stopping the clock in the process. Tarkenton then completed two passes, this one to Bob Grimm, landing the Vikings on the San Francisco 31. Time was not on Minnesota's side. With only 3 seconds remaining, Tarkenton hoped for one more miracle from his golden arm. Mel Phillips deflected Tarkenton's pass, but an illegal procedure penalty was called against the Vikings before the snap. The clock was reset. Minnesota was granted one more life. Sammy White couldn't get to the ball, and this time the game was over. The 49ers went on to their first winning season since 1972. Meanwhile, the Vikings would make it all the way to Super Bowl XI, their fourth Super Bowl appearance in 8 years.